So welcome everybody to the Brockton Everyone Has a Voice poetry reading. It's February, it's cold, it's wet outside, so typical February. We'd like to thank our director, Paul Engel, for giving us this space to let our voices rise. And we shall begin with the open mic. So I'd like to welcome up Stephen. Please come up.
Years of veteran. 40 years of veteran, it won't be long from now. 40 years of veteran, now I take a bow. 40 years of veteran, I've been wanting home. 40 years of veteran, now I'm on my own. 40 years of veteran, Jim Kane and Chirp went by. 40 years of veteran, built surveyor's equipment and I was inside. 40 years of veteran, Boss Jossie said hello. 40 years of veteran, greenhouse plants did grow. 40 years of veteran, I roam the streets alone. 40 years of veteran, a man without a home. 40 years of veteran, in the boarding house I reside. 40 years of veteran, now I say goodbye.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for your service. And I'd like to welcome up Brian to the open mic.
Hi guys, my name's Brian. Before I start, I'd just say thank you to Stephen. We're a veteran also, so thank you for your service, and I appreciate your poems. It was beautiful, thank you. If you indulge me, I have a few poems I'd like to read for you today, or recite for you. The first one is called Dragon. You are the dragon of my youth, who scared me half to death. You cut me with your wicked claws. You burned me with your breath. You would not let me laugh. You would not let me cry. You showed me anger in me, and with it stained my eyes. Why have you been here all this time? Why is it that you remained? It was all so many years ago. Why is it that you stayed? I thought that you would leave me when I was all grown up. I thought that you would leave when I was old enough. Your wings are in tatters now. You can no longer fly. Someone stole away all your gold beneath your tired eyes. Your claws are no longer sharp. Your roar is no longer a shout. Your teeth are dull and crooked. Your fire has gone out. So why are you still here? I asked, when I thought you were dead. Who are you trying to scare away with your ugly, horned head? What are you protecting now that your lair is filled with dust? Why do you remain here when you know you no longer must? The dragon slowly turned his head until his eyes fell on me. I am simply waiting, he said, for you to set me free. Second poem I'd like to read for you is called A Photograph. Somewhere there's a photograph, a faded black and white, of you and I at someone's house on some forgotten night. I'll find that picture one of these days, I've thought, but never looked. It's there among the unplayed games and half-filled crossword books. It sits unseen and reminds me of soft, unheard remarks, of sleeping late and writer's block, and smoking cigarettes in the dark. Maybe it's in that cardboard box with a chess set that's missing a rook. I'll find that picture one of these days, I've thought, but never looked. So those are my two favorite poems, but I also have a little bit of a lighter one that I'm going to recite just for Kat. And this one's called Rain. My finger traces lazy circles on the window pane. The world is bleak, the world is sad, as down falls the rain. My thoughts are scattered by the sound of a passing train. People rushing here and there, and down falls the rain. Spirits are down, umbrellas are up, and people hurry by, avoiding puddles left and right, as if they'd rather die. So don't look up, just bow your head. Today is just the same. But like a sponge, the world is soaked, and down falls the rain.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you for your service. Another round of applause. I'd like to welcome up Mario to the open mic.
I'm gonna read two poems. So the first one is from Joseph Polycarp. That is good. It's right here. And I think it's a very relevant poem for what's going on in this country now. So the title is Day of the Immigrants. A crowd of immigrants standing with palm branches. Immigrants who worked every day as slaves for the economy. Among them were the natural citizens of the land, with higher power over them. I saw the workers with palm branches asking God to respond to their injustice. God, you are our God, creator of heaven and earth. We want to go to a place where there is no pain. We can no longer exist here on earth. With your grace, let us gaze at heaven's gate. Immigrants who are fighting to make life tolerable. Kingdoms who refuse a fair share in the marketplace. I heard a hero wail. Living on this earth is a disgrace. Another champion said, let's fight until we get the wages we deserve. Equal pay and rights to us all. I approached an immigrant and questioned, do you think we shall get off this land of despair? Yes, we are God's children. Immigrants from all walks of life were singing in harmonious tribute. God, you put us here. I saw an officer stamp their passports and were told to wait. They had no choice. The long line of immigrants standing at the border carried palm branches, singing and crying in indignation. A man wrapped in the sun said to them, cry no more. I will give you the peace you deserve. The voice in the heavens comments, woe to men who did evil to their likeness. Thank you. Now into my own poem. I wrote this poem in three languages, English, French, and Haitian Creole. And as I know that Chandani Joachim is one of the keynote poets, and I know he will read something in Creole and maybe in French. So that's why I'm reading for you this poem, three languages. And also I have a friend of mine, a poet as well. His name is Tonton Guy. He published many books in 3 languages, English, French, and Haitian Creole. And he is an editor also. He has a magazine called Tambu, and his editing house is called Trilingual Press. So that's a way also to recognize him as a pioneer in this trilingual approach to writing. Okay, so the title is Paul Lover's Song, Cantique des vieux amoureux en français. Brown leaves dancing in the wind, golden rays of sunset behind centennial trees. I walk with you hand in hand, with steady steps, but taut gait. Miles of promenade on our wobbling knees. In the morning, we thank the Lord for yet a new day. No blessing taken for granted. Even the soothing smell of morning coffee or the habitual toast with peanut butter. Sometimes the memories of past loved ones shatter our daily routine and we cry over them in silence. But we're still here, anticipating the years left on our journey. Who will go first to eternity? Who will enjoy first the bliss of our Lord's kingdom? Who will stay behind, trapped in days filled with solitude? Ainsi va la vie. D'une saison à l'autre, nous naviguons sur une mer rouleuse, regardant s'égrener les ans qui s'éparpillent dans l'étendue des rêves oubliés. Le soir nous surprend devant l'écran bleu, les histoires ne veulent plus rien dire. N'avons-nous pas tout vu? Nous voyons venir de loin les dénouements comme chaque hiver le frimas de janvier. Nous devinons sans forcer le mystère des mots feutrés, des dandies, ou la semblance de pudeur des demoiselles. Je décrypte tes soliloques et même les cris étouffés de tes cauchemars. Tu connais les béquilles invisibles qui m'aident à ne pas succomber au charme des crépuscules. Dis-moi un petit mot d'amour, un petit mot qui sorti dans ton cœur, qui n'a pas jamais dit avant, ou bien qu'on te dit, même oublié. Redis-moi, t'en prie. Dis-moi parole goudou, pour comme s'écrouer tant qu'on grand doux qu'a prend zikap. M'en fait un casse-tête tourné dans tant longtemps. Les paupières yeux qu'on bat, qu'on prend la tremblade, chaque temps gardé. Les tout non moins dessouné, chaque fois qu'on nous colle. Qui côté frisson nous aller? Dans qui pays frédit, excitation nous voyager? En souffler sur différentes passions nous qui risquent de mourir en passant. En fait un retournage pour nous tant que dénédier qui fait freiner. Thank you.
So, round of applause for Joseph and Mario. I'm going to finish up the open mic. I'd like to say a few words. So the Haitian community has been a great supporter of my poetry. And as a matter of fact, Joseph nominated me to be the poet laureate. So I served from 2021 to 2025. And it was a great honor. So I would like to dedicate this poem to the Haitian community, to Joseph, Jean-Dany, and Mario. Haitian proverb. We are born of love. Love is our mother. When you look into your mother's eyes, you know that it is the purest love you can find on this earth. We endured for the Haitian people. My children, my heart aches for you, who departed from these shores. Treasures lost in communion and fight, I call out softly into the wind. Do not forget me amid the chaos. I ask not for forgiveness, for my spirit dwells within you, longing to embrace your bright tomorrows, holding you close in tender remembrance. Though stripped of our dignity, we stood on a mosaic bound by resilience. The Spanish tides crashed upon us, yet we rose. And memory stitched together with courage, fact, and fury, and solidarity with the God's spirit, our hands roughened by battle. We expelled the British wrath, holding dear brothers in arms. We wept for Toussaint Louverture's sacrifice. We declared our independence as one, voices united against oppression's weight. I would not let despair snuff out our light. We endured shackles and broken backs, whips, left scars deeper than skin, but from that fire sparked truth. My tears fell like rain upon barren earth. I long for reunion beneath the mountain's gaze, to weave statue from remnants scattered wide. In this land where breath becomes legacy, let winds carry our tales, whispered softly through time. O Haitian people, gather with me now. Life is good within these rolling hills. Hold fast to each other's embrace while we rise as one. At the beginning of the month, I was having a rough time. I was a little down on myself. So I encourage everyone or anybody, when you get into that feeling of feeling down or not worthy of yourself, to express yourself, whether it be poetry, which we all do here, or music or dance, but you can't keep it in. So if you express yourself, I believe you will get a better vision of your future. So, and this is the poem that was written about that time. A quiet melodrama. I'm thinking of a good day, a rare visitor in my restless mind, where shadows lengthen and memories crowd. There haven't been many, yet I'm here to stay, anchored even as tears fall, each drop a silent ocean to cross. So I gather them all, those falling shards of sorrow, and swim towards the outer banks, where the sun beats down like an unbroken promise. Now it's time to reclaim what's slipped through my fingers, expectations balanced on the high wire of realism, and no one gives a damn. Truth knows the days that turn into months, each whisper vanishing like moments, fading years dissolve in silence. Tomorrow walks unburdened. no relics, or broken waves to endure, just the echo of wasted time. Eyes disconnect at the distant flicker of light, a quiet melodrama infected by abstract remembrance sliding through glass hands that can no longer hold a butterfly under the microscope, penetrating the space between breath and longing. Dormant cries rise like the mist over the sea's edge. I am thinking of a good day, still waiting to arrive, but here I remain, swimming beyond tears towards the Outer Banks. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Westwood's Youth Poet Laureate, Elizabeth Lowney.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Lowney. I am the former Youth Poet Laureate from the town of Westwood, Massachusetts. I'm currently a senior at Westwood High School, and I'm 18 years old. And today I'm very excited to share some of my poetry with you. But first, I'd like to thank the Brockton Public Library and especially Phil Pazoris for organizing this wonderful series for everyone. So my first poem today is called Hectic Halls. And this poem is all about the hectic hallways of my high school and what it feels like to be walking through with all the teachers and everything, like everyone bustling to their next destination. Hectic halls. Walking through crowded halls, hundreds of paths cross throughout the day. Footsteps of those from before imprinted on the linoleum floor. Faces flash past as we focus on our next destination. Each little walking conversation contributes to the wall of sound echoing through the school. Teachers weave through students rushing to their next tasks. Hectic halls guide students from class to class, showing us where to go on the path that guides us to our future. So that first poem was all about high school, but the second poem is called The Necklace, and it's all about my family and getting the gift of a necklace. The necklace. Gold and silver strings twisted together sparkle in the warm sun. The necklace that my mother gifted me for my 10th birthday. The necklace with a golden clasp, a charm of a little girl with a black dress and blonde hair. I see myself reflected in her. The necklace with a topaz gem, the necklace that reminds me of my mom. And that one time it got snagged with all of my other jewelry, I watched my Nana patiently untangle it. This next poem is entitled Wild Child, and this poem is sort of about growing up in a pandemic, but also growing up, I live right next to a lot of like conservation land, and there's like a lot of nature in my town, and so this is sort of about like growing up near like the nature and also through a global pandemic. Wild child. I am wild, like the blue heron flying against the blue sky, sliced in half by a strip of clouds. From sidewalk chalk stains on perfectly pink clothes, hands forever smelling of pine and dirt. Cool summer nights, when the bright white stars scatter. Dog days filled with melting ice cream and sandy feet. Ocean waves crashing upon brown rocks, leaving dark shades of obsidian in their wake. A coyote's paws crunching upon orange maple leaves, stalking its prey, waiting for a chance to pounce. Fresh blankets of snow in the morning, rabbit and deer prints in the bright white snow, leave the slightest trace of secret morning endeavors. I grew up in a world divided by masks and protocols, white KN95 masks and blue latex gloves, cafeterias reeking of rubbing alcohol. The smell of it now takes me back to the unrelenting virus. frostbitten limbs and thick sheets of ice, snow-covered trails and icy winds. Bright green buds breaking through the snow, robins chirping among the sounds of ice thawing, pink flowers blossoming as sheets of rain pour down. Wild violet flower, rooted in dirt, pushing through the leaves, rain, transition. A lot of my poetry is about transition as well, because I'm a senior in high school, as I said, so like the transition throughout high school and then also the transition to college now. And this next poem is a new one that I just recently wrote. It's entitled Golden Skies, and it's about going to the beach, but it's also about my grandma. I recently lost her, so that's what this poem is about as well. Golden skies. Diamonds on the water, quahog shells in sand. Waves pulse against my callow reaching hand. Shallow breaths of winter rest, still deep within the lungs. Don't worry, we're all here, ambivalently playing against setting sun. Sharp winds whipped, brisk autumn mornings dawned. Spring welcomed acrid flowers from desolate land beyond. Now we're here in summer, dancing along the shore. You taught us all to love the jetty years and years before. It's different now, without it. Yet waves keep churning, worlds still turning, your golden eyes above. So that was a very deep poem, but this next poem is called Anti-Slay Day, and it is written in this sort of the language of a Gen Z teenager, and what it's like to be having like conversations in our school, explained in this like sort of like language that everyone talks in high school. Anti-Slay Day. Walking into school, no cap. First class over, peace out. Saying goodbye to my neighbor bestie. Later, peeps. Walking through the halls. Slay. Going into English. Ate that up. Talking with the besties. Left no crumbs. Gossiping at their desks. Without me. About me? The besties aren't really bestieing. Bruh. Ignoring me during class? Okay, bud. Time to peace out of here. Anti-slay. Looking back, peace out, peeps. Wave. Nobody waves back. They high-key just ignore me. Dejected, distraught, downtrodden, no cap. My next poem that I will be reading, this one is also fun too. No, this one is the last one. I really like that one. But this one is called Buckmaster Pond in June, and it's all about a kettle pond in Westwood, and the transition to summer, and the beautiful images that are seen at Buckmaster Pond. Buckmaster Pond in June. Morning dew drips off drooping leaves, creates a ripple in the water before assimilating into the pond. Fluffy yellow ducklings trail their mother. Her brown and green feathers shimmer in the sun. Fishermen cast their lines, yearn for fish. Kayakers paddle in orange boats. On the shore, a copper-colored golden retriever runs, while his owner eats a sandwich at the picnic table, overlooking the kettle pond. Pine trees encircle the water. Exhale pollen, and rest atop the pond in yellow swirls. Bees buzz low to the ground in search of rejuvenation, restoring the glow of summer. This next poem is entitled Erosion, and Erosion is a poem that I wrote about the climate change that I've seen, especially like on the Cape and just in the environment in general. So yeah, this is erosion. Basking in the sun, enjoying an ocean breeze. Cliffs emerging from the sand. There's something here my eye cannot see. I walk down the crooked street to the beach. Flip-flops, flip-flopping in the sand. I run to the end of the dock to jump off. Wait. The ocean rises. The sky disappears and all there is to see for miles is cold, dark. I try to jump to feel free. I splash around in the dark. The surface deteriorates. Excuse me as I address this problem that isn't only my problem. You will try to jump, and you will fall, and you will fall, and you will fall. But do you have to be perfect? Please excuse me, because this is important, and I think, and I see, and I feel. And maybe you should too. Save this planet before it engulfs you. My next poem is entitled Autumn, and I also like to write a lot about the different seasons and the nature in the seasons as well, and so this is about the transition from summer into autumn. Autumn. Summer nights slowly turn into cool autumn afternoons. The hot sun radiating off the pavement slows as the beaten down paths fall into disuse. Children change with the seasons. Their bikes and swimsuits left at home, now traded for sports uniforms and schoolwork. Leaves turn from green to mosaics of reds, yellows, browns, each color a piece of the puzzle that creates the skyline leaf peepers yearn to see. Crisp apples mirror the crisp autumn air, circling the sleepy little town, as once blossoming flowers turn to wilted plants, retreating back into the earth. This next poem is entitled Learning to Drive, and it's all about learning to drive because I recently got my license, and also just the parallels between learning to drive and going to school and the anxieties that come along with that. Learning to drive. Gas, 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 going 35, going good, 95 on the math test. Gas, 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 brake. Pedestrian jaywalking, 75 on the AP World Quiz. Heart thumping. Breathe, keep going. Gas, brake, gas, tap the brake, 79 on a chem test. Look in the rear view, look back at blonde little me wearing a pink sparkly bow at recess. Look back, but not for too long, brake! Red light, term ends, 2 Bs. Keep the tires of the other car in view. Look towards the next turn. Leave some room for escape. Think about dropping a class. Green light, new turn. Gas, 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 90 on a Spanish test. Going into an intersection, brake. Maneuver around the crash ahead. Watch cars towed. I think back to little me. Playing with dolls in the back seat. Brake. Check blind spots. Another 75 on history test. Other cars merge into the street. Phones, social media, sports, school, makeup. Don't look back now. Tap the gas. Easy now. Go. My final poem today, I decided to have as my final poem because there is a large storm brewing for Sunday, and this poem is entitled Blizzard, and it personifies a blizzard and what the blizzard may be thinking or feeling when they're putting so much snow onto the ground outside here in New England. Blizzard. I can knock down your trees. I can make your cars vanish in a sheet of white. You will be imprisoned in your house like a little mouse stuck in its burrow for winter. Stock up on water, food, and more. Who knows when you will be free? I will hold you hostage, hour by hour, erasing the worlds you know. Now you see it, now you don't. Cars, grass, trees, and houses disappear for a week or more. After I pass, the world is still recovering. Day by day, night by night, ice on the road, cars skid by, your town is frozen in place. Hail may pound on the ground. None as mighty as me, though. A thick blanket of snow covers my destruction. Don't get in my way, or I will crush you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Another round. Before we bring up Jean-Denis, we have Shannon, who is going to represent Nate Benjamin. This is what's going on.
Hey everybody, my name's Shannon, I'm not from Brockton, I am Brockton, how's that? I have a podcast here, I'm learning how to speak in parables instead of paragraphs, so that's why I'm here. A friend of mine that I grew up with that is from Brockton, he recently was released from incarceration on a natural life sentence. I grew up with this guy, he did 30 years and 5 months. And he wrote this poem, he's like a brother to me, he's supposed to be on his way, but I want you to just, it's deep, it's different, right? But to give you a little history on him, something happened to him when we were kids, somebody threw battery acid on him when we were in high school. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but this is my boy and me. So let's see, 94 York Street.
Next to my house. Excited racing down the dead end street. Hoping we told at the cool foot that we both knew. Waiting
Can you hear?
to talk to him about a great whole match. Or movie on Channel 56, the Kung Fu Theater, and try the roundhouse kicks. Mesmerized by the old raggedy cranberry curtain used to block the doorway, and the cool Deuce of Hazzard poster we had on the wall. It was a castle. It was our castle. The fort, for me, was an escape from me, from all the beatings and abuse that went on in the house. Suddenly I heard noise coming from the woods in the back of the fort. Hurriedly, I walked out the fort and noticed a man with a tattered crepe Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt. Here from the woods. Hey, he said, your fort is awesome. Can I come inside and check it out? My just turned 6-year-old self said yes. Not long after, I noticed the stench of cigarettes on him and the pimples on his face. Not being tall, he towered over me like Andre the Giant, even in the fort. He began touching me in ways I was unable to understand. Already abused by my female cousin continuously, I was more confused because this was a man. Confused, scared, no longer wanted to meet Tony. No longer wanted to talk about the latest Hulk Hogan match or even have fun on my bike. Instead of riding it home, I remember like it was yesterday, walking home, hearing the comments of the wind and the joy of the birds chirping, yet feeling my heart beating fast and sure what to do, knowing I wasn't safe at home either. The years would go by, the pain, the nightmares consumed me, turning into a boiling pot of anger and not wanting to trust anyone close to me either. Still in that process, all that happened to me when I was a little 5, 6, 7-year-old kid. Just wanted to enjoy to be loved and cared for. Now, in the place of pain, 94 years.
Thank you guys. He is from Brockton. His name is Ernest Nate Benjamin, and I am proud of him. He has a podcast, Beautiful Things Come From Struggle, and I'm Auntie Shan from the Cartel Flow. So sometimes you might see us together on the streets. Thank you for allowing me.
Thank you, Shannon and Nate. I would like to thank Brockton Community Access and especially Kayla for recording our little reading today. So without further ado, it is with great pleasure and an honor to introduce Cambridge populist / poet laureate, Jean-Denis Washington.
Good afternoon, bonsoir tout le monde. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elizabeth. Nice to see you with your family. And one day I know your sister will be reading poetry too. I bought gifts. Okay, I have poetry gift. So after that, if you want to take one, you can take one. You can take one. You can take one. Yeah. On the way here today, I usually, when I'm invited to read somewhere, I plan something. You know, I create a project. But today, and of course, it's always about home. Home is Haiti, the country where I was born, the country where I started writing for the first time in the language of that country, that is Haitian Creole. Because of the time it is now at home and in the world, I wanted to escape home today. I didn't prepare something special about Haiti. At least I didn't want to. I said, okay, I'm gonna come here and read them part of a play that I've written, part of something else, and just to improvise. But I came too early, and Philip rescued me to his house. I slept, I got fed, and now I'm awake. And after that, he let me see a project that he wrote on. He did many years ago. That's called Places. Many, many years I was part of it. And watching, I saw a poem that I wrote for the country while here that speak of what the country is going on right now. And you see, even when you don't plan it, you can't escape it. So I still have to speak of home. So I'm going to read to you Malais Pontier. Malais Pontier is that poem that I wrote many, many years ago. And it speaks of what's going on now. Malais Pontier is a combination of two words. Malais, that's meaning Haitian Creole, disaster, trouble. Pontier is something tilted. You know, Malais Pontier is a disaster on the verge of happening. So here comes Malais Pontier in English. Malais Pontier. This is true. I can smell it even here in Boston. A giant pot of trouble boiling. A sea of disaster awaking. It rises every day with the sun. It is in the air and in the rain. It is in my mother's voice whenever she calls on Sunday morning. It's piling up in the street of my city. This cooking pot has neither yam nor plantain. It has no potato, no yuca. It has none of our spices, no garlic, no piment book. It is full of hatred and greed, blind ambitions, malice and betrayal. Its wanton smell is madly clever. It lives invisible in people's eyes and nostrils and sneaks in schools, houses, open markets and churches. It silences our drums, cripples the rhythms and poisons our music. I can smell that bloody dish from my bed in Cambridge. It clogs up my dream, makes me sweat in my sleep. It's a tilted disaster on its way to crush the country for good. Yeah. Now my country is really crushed, ladies and gentlemen. It is crushed for good. We can even go back home to visit. If my mother was still alive today, I wouldn't be able to visit her. If she had to die again for me to go to bury her, this time I wouldn't be able to do it because we can't go home. What I was going to do, I was going to read you, I find this collection of, many years ago I started this project. I mean, as Elizabeth knows, when you write, you do crazy things. So, I started to write a poem whenever a new year is coming, and then I pass it on people. Today I was going to read you some I found. So, this is what I wrote in 2021. It's called Our Time Continues. That means the one I wrote before was called Our Time. So, Our Time Continues. It's been like this for a while. It feels like life takes a stop with all of us in it, waiting, apprehensive and wondering. Yet the world's events don't stop. My homeland is on its knees. Darkness takes over the sun. COVID snatched away my best friend, and an daughter was kidnapped. But here, I swim in blessings, regardless of small betrayals. I watch countless sunsets. I see the moon changing its skin. My days are filled with jazz beats. I race to the river's end where it touches the ocean. I once put off writing a poem to sharpen my lady's knives. I do many times lose focus on the tangible feel of time and go my merry way singing, life is good and life is good. So that was 2002. This one, I don't remember, I didn't put a year. I don't remember what year it was, so it was, I call it Invisible Angels. So I will make them in the form of a postal card and share them with folks. And sometimes I'll create them and then you never have the time to send them to the post office. At the end of the year, you're still stuck with all of them at home. So here's invisible angels. All the invisible angels among us, and all the matters we don't want to discuss. The young maid lost in thought, hoping for a ride. Migrants waiting for signs from the other side. Young children with their critical questions. The homeless folks in the richest nation. Leaders in anguish with difficult pledges, and all the innocents facing false charges. We continue failing to see the obvious as if we purposely engage in self-harm over innocent matters going furious instead of walking arm in arm. Or simply look in one another's eyes, recognizing what makes us alike. We must put to rest the unwarranted cries and go ahead for the good that we like. It's better for our angels to give them a voice than to sit silent, waiting for a prophet of choice. In that program, I watched before I came here at Philip's house. Here's another poem. that I saw. I'm going to read for you. It's called, that's the first poem I wrote in the English language when I came here. It's about a street in Haiti. The street is called in Creole, in Haitian Creole, Rue Saint-Martin. So I was here new, and then my mind shifted to that street, a memory of a visit as a young kid, and I wrote this poem. I read it to you in English and in Haitian Creole. Rue Saint-Martin. I remember you, Saint Martin Street, 8 o'clock in the morning, a crowd on the tilted table. The procession began. Filthy water, flies, people. An innocent sunbeam tried to fight garbage. The pie vendor did not pass. Flour shortage, they said. The water vendor didn't come yet. She sent messages. St. Martin Street got scared. 2 hopeful children waited for bread and coffee. St. Martin Street, is it true? You must be this. St. Martin Street, is it true? You must be this. Rue Saint-Martin. Moi songe ou en pile Rue Saint-Martin. 8h du matin, yon coq chante en bon vieux table penché. Procession a commencé. Rigole de l'eau sale, mouche, moun. Yon rayon soleil innocent a fait la guerre à pile fatra. Machan pâté a pas passé, la farine, c'est ça yon dit. Machan d'eau a beaucoup passé, il faut une nouvelle. Des timons, oui ce matin qui est cassé. Des timons l'espoir, attend pain à café. Oui ce matin, est-ce que c'est vrai vous faites pour ça? Oui ce matin, est-ce que c'est vrai vous faites pour ça? I will read you the one I wrote this year, at the end of 2025, to which people a good 2026. Yeah, I think I should have enough. If not, I'll give a stack to Philip for next time. Yeah, it's called Our Time Worsens. I started before time, and then time continues, and time in 2026, I think that's all I have to say. This one is called Our Time Worsens. As the years pass, it seems that life hardens. Nature, of course, continues its sequence as usual. Rain and wind, snowfall, sea waves, and floods. The moon quietly continues its never-ending travel under the jealous gazes of the outer stars. Here, we too continue our dreadful way, carrying our accounts of destruction and war. Haiti, Gaza, Ukraine, Iran, Syria, Israel, Yemen, Russia, Sudan, Myanmar, Lebanon, Iraq, Somalia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, India, Pakistan, and soon Venezuela, the United States of America. It almost feels like a conscious effort towards the path of destruction. Excess greed, wars of aggression, calamities, mass shootings, disruption of families, as the future watches us with hesitation, unsure how to commit to bringing more days our way. Life persists, nevertheless, keeping its light above us. We still worry as we remain the lucky ones. Truly blessed are we for each day and night witness. We wish for church doors and theaters to remain open, for painters to reinvent nature's face in new expressions, for dancers to enter their bodies for innovative creation, for poets, actors, and musicians to unite in path and harmony as we go with no denial of origin or self. And I will keep the old rituals. I will keep the old ritual. A lit candle, a cup of coffee, a cup of water, 3 drops on the ground for 7 days, each new season. And then, what else did I want to? Oh, this is an old project, something old. I did this collection with a friend of mine. Many years ago, I took him to Haiti. He was going to read this, but it didn't happen. Then we published the story, and I wrote a poem. Yeah, it's a short story and a poem. So it's called Millennium Resolution. Millennium Resolution. That's a story that, in response to the story, that a poem in response to the first story. And this is when 2000 was about to come. You know, there's people, there were plenty of things in the air. Folk thought that was going to be the end of life. Nobody knew that life would continue. They weren't sure, so I wrote this. Millennium Resolution. The millennium almost caught me by surprise. I was across the border after escaping a storm and inside a story. The story wasn't mine this time. It belonged to Gretchen and Peter. And they were in the last summer of the 60s. Gretchen was in search for love. She thought she could love deeply. She wanted to be loved the same way. And Peter wanted to be Jesus, but he didn't know it. When the first ring of midnight started from the tower of Trinity Church on St. Catherine Street, near my hotel room in downtown Montreal, I was already swallowed by the starving moon. A cold chill filled my whole body. That kind one experiences in very scary moments. The same kind immigrants often feel when dealing with immigrant agents. I discovered myself in the pages of the story. I had Peter's face, so obsessed with doing the right thing and wanting to be Jesus too in this fast-moving world. All my memories suddenly became a window, the scariest moment in one's life, when everything seems so clear and so real, when the past doesn't want to go and stands tall in your path like an iceberg. The sound of the 6th ring of midnight coming from the church tower echoed loudly in festive St. Catherine Street, but I almost couldn't hear it. I was in a race against time, trying to free myself from my outer self. Peter loved Gretchen. He wanted to save her. If she had sinned, he would have forgiven her too, like Jesus did for Magdalena, and saved her life. I had loved before, too much, like Peter, and why didn't I notice this for so long? Peter went to another woman, Peter went back to Gretchen, and Peter never noticed Peter, the way I missed myself for so long. There were only 2 rings left of the 12 sounds of midnight. The first hour was almost final, just enough time for my millennium resolution. Finally, I decided to let Jesus go. But before I left the next morning, I stole the Bible in the bedroom drawer. It used to be, I don't go much to hotels these days. When you travel in any country, when they always have Bibles in the open drawer. So I think this one, was it in French or in English? I don't know. If I took it, that would be interesting. So I read anything. So perhaps I was reading the Bible and I took it as a souvenir. Maybe Jesus forgave me for stealing the Bible.
It's free.
Eh?
I think it's free.
It's really okay.
I think so, yeah.
They wanted me to steal, right? Okay, what do I read before I go? Time to go. Let me improvise something, okay? Let me improvise something. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. The sun sits above the country without saying a word. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. If you guys were musicians, I would like you to just play anything while I do this. That's what we'll play with it. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays. The sun sits above the country without a word, listening to every secret and watching all tricks. Soleil la chita sous tête pays, sans dire un mot. Passez par cavaillon, joue, marcher tête bœuf. Soleil la baille sans parti pris. Qui ça le fait encore? M'ba songer. Soleil la chita sous tête pays, sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays, sans dire un mot. Soleil la chita sous tête pays. That's one of the reasons I love the Creole language so much. It's just poetry. You can do whatever you want with it. And at the end, it's still poetry. So. And that's the life I had at home. And home, I can't go now, but I still have hope. I still have hope. And let's finish with love. One love we want to go. Okay. I'll say goodbye with love. Is it time to say goodbye with love? Yeah. What will it be for love? Which one of these? I walk without counting my steps. I do not want to remember. I do not want to remember how many times I have encircled the city to meet you. First, I saw the sun, then the moon, and the stars. And I saw the sun and the moon and the stars. And I walk, and I walk, and I walk. Je marche sans compter mes pas. Je ne veux plus me rappeler que 1000 fois j'ai contourné la ville à ta rencontre. J'ai vu d'abord le soleil, puis la lune, et les étoiles. Et j'ai vu le soleil. Et j'ai vu la lune. Et les étoiles. Et je marche. Et je marche. Et je marche. Te espero. Camino sin contar mis pasos. No quiero recordarme más que 1000 veces he dado la vuelta en la ciudad para encontrarte. He visto primero el sol, pues la luna y las estrellas. Y he visto el sol, pues la luna y las estrellas. Y camino, y camino, y camino. Te espero. Thank you. Thank you. gift, cards, a copy of this and that. Life is good. Thank you very much.
So what a wonderful afternoon. I want to thank Kayla from Brockton Community Access for recording this reading, and especially our director, Paul Engel, for giving us this space. How about Stephen, Joseph, Mario, Brian, Shannon representing Nate?
Nate's here.
Nate, welcome for their open mic. And let us once again thank Elizabeth Lowney. And John Money. And especially everyone who came to listen. We will be back next month, March 21st. Our features will be Dr. Matthew Henry. He will be representing New Heights Charter School. And our student feature will be Juliana Pierre. So thanks again, have a great month, and we'll see you once again.